Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another weekly recap. Now this week we have an update that I remember passed a poll when I made my YouTube channel pretty much, which was around 4 years ago. So you know what, props to them for finally getting around to doing it. So today we finally received the Tinted Hitsplat update. As always, I'll be going over any news related to the old school RuneScape community this week, as well as we're going to do a quick recap of the Q&A. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Now today we got a rather small update. It was called Phosani's Nightmare and Tinted Hitsplats. Now the Phosani's Nightmare is something that was mentioned on the Q&A yesterday and on Twitter a few days ago, but all of a sudden it has been released. It's pretty much a challenge mode for the Nightmare, but it's going to be a competition. For 1 week only, you'll be able to fight Phosani's Nightmare yourself by entering the portal beside Phosani's coffin. The version of the Nightmare is tougher and scarier, and to make matters worse, you'll have to do it solo. Now the fastest global kill time will win 6 months of old school RuneScape membership and a signed piece of artwork featuring the Nightmare that you will get in 2 to 3 years. Second place will receive 3 months of membership, and third place will receive 1 month of membership. I don't know, that's kind of a minimal reward in my opinion. 1 month of membership for third place, that's equivalent to like 10 bucks. Another interesting thing here is content creators will have access to a separate competition in which the prize will go to one of their lucky followers. Okay, so we'll have to start streaming, get better than Nightmare, and then you guys maybe will get a reward. Okay, so the main update here is the Tinted Hitsplats update. Now, this thing was forgotten for quite a while, and the reason for that is the engine capabilities just, I guess, weren't there yet. Back in 2016, we polled the following question: should the Hitsplats dealt by other players be tinted to a slightly different color to make it clear which hits are yours? The feature will be toggleable. Now the engine has since been updated to make this feature possible, and you'll be seeing it in game from today onwards. Since this project was extremely large with hundreds of bits of combat code to rewrite the new infrastructure, we decided not to bulk it out even further by adding more features. In the future though, we'd like to upgrade the Tinted Hitsplats to include different colors for max hits and different combat styles. That would have been really nice, but you know what, I am happy they got this update done. Yeah, so it would be pretty nice to have max hits be in gold or a different color, or have different attack types do different damage. I really hope they made this pretty expandable so it won't take another 4 years to get another couple hitsplats. I would imagine so, that's probably why it took so long to rewrite it. It's really hard to imagine how hard it is to work with that code. Like, I'm sure if RuneScape was written a few years ago, this update would have taken a day maybe. So props to them for finally getting around to doing that, even though it was a pretty minor change and it seemed like it took a lot of work. Now as always, there is a host of small quality of life changes and bug fixes, but that is pretty much it for today's game update. Now today we received another RuneLite update. It was release 1.6.9, don't say it. Now today there was an update to the bank tags plugin, and now is a new right click menu option, which will display each of your tag tabs as bank items, letting you quickly view and reorganize them. In addition, reordering tags respects your bank rearrange mode selection. And there was also a small update to the screenshot plugin, which now stores all automatic screenshots in subfolders according to the screenshot type, such as levels, quests, boss kills, etc. I'm actually very happy with that because there's a lot of screenshots that end up in that folder normally, so another really awesome update. Now another feature for the tag system that I didn't know about is you're actually able to choose certain boss icons for your bank tags if you type their names in rather than the drops. So I think in this example photo, they have a corp icon and a gargoyle boss icon. It's kind of hard to tell, but still very, very cool. Okay, so we finally have the result for the death mechanic poll. Now again, this is just an opinion poll. It is going to be an integrity change. Now by a pretty significant margin, the most popular option was option number 3. And I believe in the Q&A they mentioned that is the option they're going to be going with. So yes, it was an opinion poll, but well, they listened to our opinion. So I guess there's just a minor difference. Okay, now just in case you forgot what the options were, option 1 was a 2-minute death timer, and then after that the items would be deleted, so that would be similar to what we had before. Option 2 was items go to a gravestone where you died for 15 minutes, and then after that are lost. And option 3, the one we went with, is items go to a gravestone where you died for 15 minutes, where a small fee is charged for valuable items, and then the items are moved to the death's office indefinitely with a much higher fee, all payable from the death's coffer. So this was definitely the least punishing death mechanic, but I kind of agree with it now. With how valuable certain items are, it would be devastating to lose like a twisted bow somehow. So we're going to have more punishing death mechanics, but much less punishing than before, which, you know what, I think is a good compromise. And also passing with 88%, if you die within the God Wars dungeon, your items will be moved outside of the room, making your death slightly safer. Now, the RuneScape wiki is doing a big overhaul of the weakness parameter, which I think is a really awesome idea because currently the weakness is not usually indicative of how you should actually kill that monster. For example, the weaknesses within the monster info box was wrong about 25% of the time and misleading for another 25%, and a ton of the information is based on assumptions from 5 to 10 years ago, so it's kind of out of date. So they're going to be working on updating all of that information, so thank you very much, and it's going to be accompanied with a DPS calculator to truly figure out what is best against each monster. You guys are doing excellent work. Okay, well, I don't know if any more attention needs to be brought to this, but Zuhar, who does a lot of artwork in the RuneScape community, apparently did a t-shirt design for RuneFest and signed a contract about sales, but they have ignored his emails since December, so he's not really sure if he's going to get any money for it. This Reddit post has 20,000 upvotes, so there's quite a bit of exposure here, but I really hope he gets the money if they signed a contract. So I love this first comment. Jagex legit just logged out with the split. And finally here, I am continuing to get a significant amount of scam emails. Honestly, if you get an email from Jagex, just never click on it. Even if it's legit, just log into your account through the website separately or through the game center and check it there. I would never click on any email I get. And last up here, one thing I almost forgot is the poll for Darkmire is now live. We're voting on a new quest, a continuation of the Myric quest, a new attachment for the Fury called the Blood Shard, the new vampire monsters, as well as new vampire slayer tasks, as well as the new agility training method. So go check it out. Definitely go ahead and vote regardless of how you feel about it. Anyway guys, that is it for community news this week. And finally here, I'm going to be going over the weekly Q&A. Now, there was a ton of questions this week, so I'm going to try to condense it down a bit. Okay, first up here is high scores. Not much of an update since the last week. They're still kind of working on it. Something's being beta tested at the moment, and hopefully that'll come out in the next week or two. A few optimizations that they could consider is to set a threshold for appearing, for example, 10 kill count or something, or to shorten the boss high scores. Really, there's not a way to fix this. What is going on with PvP? Last week we talked about how they made some progress with the overall vision. They're still in the process of doing that, but they're hoping to show some progress and a roadmap fairly soon. Now the death mechanic opinion poll has finished. We will proceed with something similar to option 3. Development has begun and we hope to see it in the springtime. Now with the release of the Nightmare, a new engine feature for the NPCs to rush to a position was added. Could the Abyssal Sire get an update like this so there's not a 15-second delay of them just standing around while the boss is invincible? Or another suggestion is for the Grotesque Guardian. Now it would depend on whether we want to revisit the old content like that. There's a lot we can do with this kind of movement, although they're not sure how appropriate it would be for a big lumbering thing like the Sire to do that, and they said they could probably resolve the issue of players standing around maybe in another way. Are there plans to revisit or rebalance the Basilisk Knights? It kind of seems like they're in a frustrating state currently and they've been ignored due to larger content updates since. The short answer is yes, they're looking into it. They want to get them into a decent state because we don't want them to be annoying to kill. Are there any plans for low to mid-level group content? Regarding the new player experience, I think it would be a good way to have more group content to aim for early on. ModTide came up with a suggestion, a new free-to-play mid-level solo rat boss. This would give a new stab weapon and it's poisonous. This could be modified to be a group boss. Sarachnis was building into introducing mid-level content to PVM, but the pet hunters made it difficult or awkward for mid-levels to profit. Content like this is often balanced around how fast a maxed account could kill it because they will if it's good GP per hour. So they could perhaps look at the mechanic that doesn't actually favor high levels as much for the boss, but there still needs to be more discussions on this. Are there any updates on the Asian servers? Are we ever going to get them? There's not something they can immediately answer as they don't really know the details on it. Are there enough players there and is there an infrastructure to do so? Jagex owners are based there, so they would expect that question to be in their mind at some point as well. Will there be a shortcut to Barrows with the Darkmire update? They don't think that is going to be part of the plan. Will Verzik count as a vampire slayer task? No, not currently. The design of the Theater of Blood involved is specifically not being balanced around a slayer helmet, so they're probably not going to be changing that anytime soon. How do you guys feel about construction job contracts and reward suggestions? For example, if estate agents in various places would ask players to build amounts of furniture in the house, then come back for GP, construction XP, or construction points. Training would be less intensive and slower. Contracts in general are a pretty good idea. For Slayer, it works really well. The skill is built around it. Farming is great due to the downtime between contracts. Would it make sense on construction? They do like this version of the suggestion more than the previous one, so they would consider it. Can we also get the option to attach the Blood Shard to the Ornamental Fury if it passes? That should be fine, the job would likely be very small. Are there any more leagues in development? We're very happy with how the first one went, and they've mentioned that there will be more in the future, but you're gonna have to wait and see. We can't really say anything just yet. Anyway guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sure you are all just sitting there wondering how I managed to stretch this out to 10 minutes, and I will say it takes practice. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.